Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News, brought to you by Hobbling Japan's latest sale. Until October the 20th, all shipping methods are discounted up to 25%, and by shopping through the links down below, you will also be supporting the channel. For the news then, this week we had two pretty big events happening. Today, the Gundam Metaverse went public, which I'll talk about in a dedicated video tomorrow. And the third volume of Road to Gunpla Battle took place, and the gameplay videos of that event were posted on YouTube. Now, they do only show us the launching scene and the final moments of the battle against the Big Zam, but it still gives us a good idea of what the overall quality was. And in short, it was like the preview. Impressive, but not perfect. So, as a quick recap, during the first playable Gunpla scan event, a lot of time went into rigging the scan Gunpla to the in-game frame. And as a result, the gameplay felt really smooth and everything looked really good. But during this Gunpla scan, I feel like they tried to speed things up a little bit. Now, credit where credit is due for something you just quickly scanned, quickly edited, and then threw into a game. It is working remarkably well, and again, I am impressed with what I'm seeing. But again, just because I'm impressed doesn't mean I also didn't notice a lot of problems. The most prominent one being the very static movements. My initial impression of this during the trailer was that maybe it's because they had the computer decide where the joints were, and that these movements were like the least likely to cause issues. But after watching the after report video of the event, it shows us that they did still do some manual adjustments. It just goes way faster than during the first run, but still they did do the manual adjustments, so I do find it a bit weird that the movement isn't more fluid. And then the next two things that I also immediately noticed can basically be solved by the same solution: the rigging of the weapon and the thruster effect. Now, for the most part, the weapons were lined up well enough, but I did still notice that a few, literally stuck out like a sore thumb. The thruster effect part then was the exact opposite. It was almost never in the right place, because I don't even think they tried to have the program line it up or manually adjusted it. It was just always in the same predetermined spot of the mobile suit. And another reason that made this even worse then is that there was only a single thruster effect. And that works for a few mobile suits like the Zeta and the Strike, but most mobile suits in Gundam have two or more thrusters. So if they could spend some time to correctly rig the joints, why not spend the extra minute to also rig the weapon and the thruster effect? Oh, and one final thing that I noticed is that even though you could choose between having a melee weapon or a ranged weapon, even if you did go with a melee weapon, it was still functionally the same as a ranged weapon. Because even though your machine does do the slashing motion, it is still sending out an energy wave of some sort, effectively making it a ranged weapon. But all of that being said, it was very impressive to watch, and I am looking forward to what the next step is going to be. Because the big question that I now have is this the limit of what they'll be able to achieve, and is it just going to be small incremental upgrades and refinements, or is it going to be another big step up? Only time will tell. And another event with Gunpla is the Gundam Docks at Thailand. It started on the 6th and will continue until the 29th, and it has all of the usual things. There are a lot of exhibitions and displays, including some really cool 6-meter statues of the RX-78-2 and Sharzaku-2. And of course, there is limited edition Gunpla. There's the SD Gundam X Standard RX-78-2 for 450 baht, 12 US, the high-grade RX-78-2 Beyond Global for 900 baht, 25 US, the master-grade RX-78-2 version 3.0 for 1,900 baht, 52 US, and the real-grade New Gundam for 1,800 baht, 50 US. And in addition to a different color scheme, they will also come with a new slide of markings. And what I find really funny about the RX-78-2s is that they now basically have the color scheme of the full armor Gundam from Thunderbolt. And staying with the Gundam and Gunpla related events, on November the 23rd, the Gundam Fan E-Festival of 2023 will start and lasts until December the 10th. It promises to be an event where Gundam fans take the center stage and will also have exclusive events unlike any other. What those events are remains to be seen, but they do already have 2 things open at the moment. By going to the official website, which I will have linked down below, you can vote on your favorite Gundam movie and Gundam series, which will then become a watch party, and you can also submit pictures or videos of your Gunpla, which can then be included in the official promotional video of the event. From China then came the most expensive thing this week. Or, well, it was announced a week before that, but I didn't notice it before now. The Master Grade Extreme Strike Freedom Gundam Midnight Coding version. At 4,200 yuan, or 575 US dollars. This sleek black machine is one of the most expensive Gundam model kits out there. And depending on what we're including in the list, I think this might just be the most expensive plastic Gundam model kit out there. But it gets worse, because this already expensive model kit isn't just limited to China, but it's also limited to a lottery sale. So even those who want and technically can get their hands on it are still going to have to enter the lottery to see if they win it. So the price in the second-hand market is probably going to skyrocket for that thing. Maybe even to such a degree where you might even want to consider learning how to paint it yourself. Because do keep in mind that as awesome as this thing looks, it is just a color swap of the standard Master Grade Extreme. The only things that will be more difficult to replicate are the clear parts, but even if you leave them in their original colors, I think that might offer a nice contrast. And then just in today, we got the announcement of the real grade 00 Sun Riser. It comes at a grand total of 5,280 yen, which is like 35-40 US, but it does come with a newly molded Sun Riser that can be equipped with 2 GN Buster Sword 3s, or even a GN Sword 2, and it also comes with a large action base that can be used for the 00 or the Sun Riser, and a smaller action base that is meant to support the GN Buster Sword 3s in their combined mode. And to wrap up this week's Gunpla then, we have a resale of the high-grade Try Age Gundam. And I especially want to draw your attention to its cloak here, and just how awesome it looks. And now compare that to the cheap cloak that we got with, well, that we are getting with the Black Knights' mobile suits. On the figure front then, we got the massive mobile suit ensemble Psycho Gundam Mk.II Premium Bandai Limited. And no, I am not actually referring to its size. At 13 centimeters, which is 5.1 inches, it's not small, but not particularly big either. The price for this small giant, however, is 11,000 yen or 74 US. Sure, it does come with the ability to transform and also has a fair amount of accessories, being a large action base for the Psycho Gundam itself, 2 smaller action bases for the arms, shooting out effect parts for the arms, clear beam effect parts, and a cool swirling effect parts for the reflector bits, but I don't think anyone is going to be calling this a bargain. But this thing can be yours in March. Or, in June, the Gundam Girls Generation Suletta Mercury can be yours for 24,200 yen, 162 US. Pre-orders for her went live on Friday, but unfortunately, she is limited to Premium Bandai, Volks, and Yellow Submarine. It's really a shame that a figure this good looking isn't a regular release. And more Witch from Mercury figures will be coming our way in February through the next Witch from Mercury Ichiban Kuji lottery. As always, the way Ichiban Kuji works is that you buy a ticket for 700 yen, around 5 US, and on that ticket it says which prize you won, and you always win something, but of course, like, the lower ranked prizes aren't going to be quite worth the 700 yen. And while they did tell us what all the prizes are going to be, we only have images for the top 2. Prize A is a Suletta Masterlized X-Piece figure, Prize B is a Miorine Masterlized X-Piece figure, prizes C through F are big acrylic stands of Suletta and Miorine together, Guel, Elan number 5, or Shadiq. Prize G is a visual towel, Prize H is an acrylic stand, Prize I is a clear file and sticker set, and then there's also a special edition of the Suletta Masterlized X-Piece figure for the person who buys that last ticket. And staying with Witch from Mercury, we also got some more random things that went up for pre-order this past week. Something that I never really reported on, like during Witch from Mercury's run, was the Asticassia Radio Committee. It was kind of played as like a school radio thingy on YouTube and was hosted by the voice actresses of Miorine and Suletta. But of course, it was only in Japanese, and I believe that it was also region locked. But if you do want all things Witch from Mercury, the CD of the first volume of this radio program has gone up for pre-order and can be yours on November the 29th for 4,400 yen, 30 US. It's currently only available from Automart, which I will have linked down below, but I do think you're going to be needing a proxy buying service to get it from there. And the same will go for the next Witch from Mercury goodies. There will be a collaboration to issue a Witch from Mercury T card, which is like a points card to get discounts for shopping. But even if you don't need such a card, there's also some merch related to it, and of course the beautiful art that is on it. For 2,530 yen, 17 US, there's this card stand of Suletta or Miorine, in which you can store your T card or any other credit card size trading card instead. And for this purpose, the card holding part can be put either horizontally or vertically. Or then for 1,540 and 10 US, there's a card case on a ball chain. And in addition to that, there's also going to be a pop-up store in Tsutaya stores across Japan for some additional stuff. A standard acrylic stand of Suletta or Miorine for 1,870 yen, 13 US, an A4 sized mega acrylic stand for 3,850 yen, 26 US, one of 10 random acrylic cards for 750 yen each, 5 US, and I'm assuming you can also put these in the card holder thingy, maybe? An acrylic diorama for 5,500 yen, 37 US, and a golden Suletta or silver Miorine stainless steel tumbler for 4,400 yen, 30 US. And if you spend above 2,200 yen, 15 US, you'll also get one of 3 random postcards. And for the final figure of this week then, we go to China, where Gundam has yet another collaboration with McDonald's. If you use the app to order the collaboration menu for 59.90 yuan, roughly 8 US, you'll also get a QMSV Mini RX-78-2 Gundam version Angus. The action began on October the 6th and has been extended from October the 10th to the 30th. Meanwhile, on the gaming front, in Gundam Battle Operation 2, the Gaza has joined the fun. And in other news, in Osaka, a new official Tamashii Nation store has opened up, the Tamashii Spot Osaka. The pavilion that Bandai will be building for the upcoming Osaka World Expo will be named the Gundam Next Future Pavilion, and this is the promotional art for it. This week's Mobile Suit Girl is the rear of the gym girl with the ball attachment, and shows us how the ball has a stabilizer arm for when it fires its rail cannon, and Iron-Blooded Orphans got a new Gundam, the Gundam Zagan. Now, my first impression of this machine was that it was kinda insect-like, but according to the demonic lore, Zagan is supposed to be a bull with griffin wings, so yeah. Another first impression that was wrong was that I thought that those shield-esque things were connected to the arms, but they are instead connected to its backpack. The unit then was first used during the Calamity War, where it was supposedly used by one of the original 7 stars, Arzona issue, but it then fell into obscurity, only to come back into the limelight when a former elite guard for Carta issue, Londo Braun, began using it as his unit. As for the things you could get this week then, from the Gundam base, you could get 2 limited edition kits on the 7th. For 2,090 yen, 14 US, there is the high-grade The Gundam base limited Build Strike Galaxy Cosmos Plavsky clear version, which is like slightly different from regular clear kits in that the clear parts have like a sparkling effect molded into them, making them look cooler than just plain clear kits. And for 5,500 yen, 37 US, you can get the Master Grade Gundam Base Limited Gundam Nadleeh. Perfect for those who just want the Nadleeh without needing to buy the whole Virtue. But unfortunately, it does not include the cannons of the Virtue that the Nadleeh did of course famously use in the anime. And then from the 7th to the 9th, the entry grade RX-78-2 Recirculation Color / Neon Blue was on pre-sale for 1,100 yen, 7 US, at the Inazuma Rock Festival 2023. And in addition to this funky colored Gundam, a limited edition Inazuma Rock Festival 2023 marking sticker sheet would also be included with every purchase. For this week's reading material then, which from Mercury and Gundam Seed are being featured in this week's Bunchen Entertainment Plus and includes a poster of Suletta and Kira, there was the November issue of New Type featuring some behind the scenes information on Which from Mercury, and also a B3 poster with Guel, Elan, and Shadiq. The newest chapter of the ever-crazy Gundam sequel was released online and is linked down below. And the SD Gundam World Heroes Kira Hagane Monogatari Prologue was also released online and is linked down below. And the good news for this prologue short novel thingy is that it is available in English. On to this week's Gundam Apparel news then, where we had a lot of things go down on Friday. First up, Strig G launched 2 new collections and had another one go up for pre-order, with the pre-orderable one being their latest collaboration with Alpha Industries for a new set of Gundam-inspired fly jackets, meaning that on October the 21st, you'll be able to get an MA1 jacket inspired by Zeon for 42,900 yen, 288 US, or an MA1 Natus jacket inspired by Judo Ashita or Haman Khan for 44,000 yen, which is 295 US. The released ones then are a collaboration with Patrick, giving us Unicorn, Banshee, or Asticassia inspired sneakers for 23,650 yen, 159 US, and an 08 MS Team collection. For 4,730 yen, 32 US, you can get a gray shirt with the 08 MS Team's logo, a white one with the 08 MS Team's logo covered by camo, or a black one with the Goof Custom. Then for 5,930 yen, 40 US, you can get a long-sleeved white t-shirt with that 08 MS Team logo, or for 10,780 and 72 US, you can get a work shirt styled after the 08th MS team. And on that same day, some Bankore stuff also went up for pre-order. You could get super fancy with the new Vist Foundation leather collection, or you could go crazy with the new Dom collection. So if you're a fan of the Vist Foundation, you can order this bifold wallet for 17,600 yen, 118 US, a pass case or business card case for 11,000 yen, 74 US, or a long wallet for 20,900 yen, 140 US, all of which are slated for a January release. In the Dom collection, then, we get a much larger variety of items with two very distinct designs. One is a more traditional, badass design, showing all three Doms being intimidating, and the other is a more cutesy design, with the Doms being integrated into its model number. You can get both of these designs on a t-shirt for 3,520 yen each, 24 US, or a keychain for 935 yen each, 6 US. The badass design then is also available on a zip-up hoodie for 7,700 yen, 52 US, an acrylic stand for 1,980 yen, 13 US, and a bath towel for 3,850 yen, 26 US. And you can also get the cutesy design on a hoodie for 7,700 yen, 52 US, a mug for 2,750 yen, 18 US, and a two-way tote bag for 5,940 yen, 40 US. And all of these items will be jet streaming their way to your house in November. And then finally, yesterday, you could order some more Gundam leather items. A belt with either Char Asimov's logo on it or Amro's logo on it. Both go for 12,980 yen each, 87 US, with the Amro model releasing in December and the Char model in January. And then let's quickly wrap things up with the polls. With so many new Gunplas being announced last week, and the week before that, Gundam.info wants to know which ones we're the most excited for. And with so many different ones to choose from, it really makes you wonder which one Gundam.info, well, which four Gundam.info would make available for the poll. And two, I can completely understand and are also two that I would have selected for the poll, but the two others, I do not understand at all. If I had to make a ranking of all of them, like, those would have been at the bottom of that ranking. And it is also very much reflected by the standings so far. Going head to head for first place are the Master Grade Narrative Gundam C-Pax version Kotoki and the High Grade Destroy Gundam. And while their places do switch between the two versions of the poll, what remains consistent is that they get just under 80% of all of the votes. The two runner-up thens are the SDW Heroes Onmitsu Aerial and the Master Grade Gundam Base Limited Zaku Cannon Zeta Gundam version. Again, out of all of the announcements, these two are the one you're gonna include in your poll, and not something like the high-grade Rising Freedom Gundam, or perhaps the high-grade Tifias Gundam? Like, I can guarantee you, if these two had been included, this poll would have looked very different. But anyways, if you do want to vote, I will of course have the links down below. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all tomorrow with that video on the Gundam Metaverse.